And again, weather change at the Yama. And that means, once again, a different retrieve method for my white mouse. I'm testing again with the white mouse here at the Yama because right at this spot, Japanese sibling keep biting now and then. That should be spotted char in English, and of course, that's super interesting. I still need it as a trophy, of course. I'd be happy to catch it right here. And I've already been trying here for a good, pretty much exactly 30 minutes. There were already a few sibling in there, but unfortunately also a few small ones. And a big one now. That would be ideal. It has been caught as a trophy already. Even posted in Discord. There it is. Fabian posted it. Really, really nice. Japanese sibling as a trophy. Over 10 kilos. And all that here on the white mouse. So now I'm really curious what else might be possible here. He was moving pretty slowly. Nicely reeled through continuous retrieve speed 15. And of course, it always depends what kind of setup you have. How fast is the reel you're using? What's the gear ratio? You have to keep all that in mind. But I'd say, generally speaking, if it's pulled through a bit slower, then that should work out pretty well. I've already tried it. So against the current or sideways with it, it works quite well, I think. I'm turning it down a bit again, and if you then reel it in continuously, I usually make sure the action bar at the bottom starts flickering a little. So just a bit, we get a little wiggle to diggle, and now the action flickers, bam. The action bar, and then something already bites. But again, something small, right? Still, you really have to, and that happens at the Yama regularly. Keep an eye on the weather. Every time the weather changes, and there can be 4 or 5 weather changes in a single day here at the Yama, from cloudy to sunny, to rain, to thunderstorm, and so on. There are always different conditions, and accordingly, the fish's preferences also change. Sometimes in the rain they go down, maybe closer to the surface, or it cools down, and then you really need to adjust your fishing style again. Especially when you're testing spots that might be a bit older. You copy what worked before, go to that spot, try it the way it was described, like here, for example, as Fabian described. Speed 15, just reel it through, and suddenly nothing works. Well, it's not because it doesn't work there anymore. You just have to fish differently. That's the key. It means you just have to retrieve the lure differently, and that's exactly what you need to figure out first. What's really interesting, what do the fish you're after actually like? Of course, with these mice, you can only buy them at Tunguska, the Tunguska mouse white, and I've got big hooks on here too, maybe even too big, but I think size 4.0, that should be fine. I've got a 19 kilogram leader on here, fluorocarbon monoline, 19 kilograms. And with the mice, they stay on the surface the whole time. There aren't many options or variations. And there's no retrieve method either. Nothing is displayed on the action bar. No special method. We basically have to come up with that ourselves. So that means we can pull it in slowly, we can pull it in fast, we can do stop and go, and so on and so on. We just have to try it out. Maybe crank 3 or 4 times, then let it drift, then reel again, then let it drift again. So this kind of variation, we just have to, bam! See that? We just have to add it ourselves, try it out ourselves, and think ourselves into the lure. Be the mouse in the water. Be the mouse in the water. Just try it out. Swim through this river, and try not to drown. And at some point, you get tired, you stop paddling, and then the big salmon comes and eats you. That's basically the idea behind these rodents, and you can do that in different variations. Right now, I'm running speed 50 with some stop and go. So a bit of retrieve, but then just stop again. Ah, look, something already followed. Always stop a bit now and then. You can really play around with it. Always try something different, especially again when the weather has just changed. You usually have to do something different again. That also goes for spinners and spoons and all other artificial lures, actually all kinds of lures. So the influence of the weather should not be underestimated. You really notice that suddenly different spots become active, or maybe different fish become active, bam, on your hook. They're after your lure, and suddenly other fish bite, or nothing bites at all, and you're just standing there thinking, what just happened? On top of that, here at the Yama, we also have the difficulty that we only have the daytime. So that's a bit of a shame. We only have time from, say, roughly 4 in the morning until about 11 p.m. And that's it. Yeah. And now, suddenly only Kata show up. That's a thing too. Sure, they've always been mixed in, but now all of a sudden, because of the weather change, just Kata salmon. That's pretty uncool. I really don't want those. Let's take a look again. Maybe this one's more interesting. And if that's another Kata, I'm changing the lure color. Absolutely clear. If it keeps attracting the same fish, then the angler's doing something wrong if they're not catching the right ones. So let's have a look. And it is, oh yes, 4.8 kilograms Japanese sabling. Everything done right, not bad at all. So quickly back in, the spool is charged to 45%, so almost max cast. I think I'm casting about 50 meters here. Then we pull it back in. This was at speed 50 now, so completely different than what was described in Discord. Totally different from the spot description. And it still works. That's really it. That's the key. Test, test, test. I say it in almost every video. It's just essential. And that's also where the angler's experience comes in. Your experience, not your little avatar's experience in the game. So let's go on. What can we do? What can we test? What are the options? And the more informed you are, the better you know what's possible. And then, of course, you get more successful much faster at what you're doing. That's already pretty good. By the way, the rain stopped. Rain is gone. Now it's just cloudy. Maybe that's the way to go now. I didn't cast as far this time. Recharging some energy, casting again, nice and far this time. And of course, also read the spot a little. So I always do it like this. I charge to a certain level, always the same amount. Usually I start with 50% charge, see how far it flies, reel it slowly, then cast again and again. And depending on what fish respond, I cast a little farther or a little less, but always to the same spot. Pick a target on the horizon, aim for a tree or something, and then always cast to that same place, same distance, until you eventually pick a new target. Bam, next point on the horizon, pick a bush and keep casting and testing and see how the lure runs through, which zones you're pulling it through. Yeah, now it's pretty dark. I think not much is going to happen anymore. 40 minutes now at the spot. That's usually the standard time at the Yama. Let's try a bit more aggressively, and then, as mentioned, it's usually about 40 minutes of daytime. Of course, at night, you could also nicely go for burbot here at the Yama. That would also still work. Just throw some rotten bait fish into the deep holes. Burbot's always worth it. If you want to make some silver during the night too. And otherwise, just grab a coffee or watch a video. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I really like that. And then I'll see you in one of the next videos, maybe at the next water. Tight lines, until next time.